Ladies and gentlemen, all viewers across the world, those watching from Ghana, those in the United States. My name is ALFRED AMUZU, and you are on Loud Silence Radio. This is the Ghana Agenda. And today we'll be talking about Gnpc. We'll be looking at Gnpc from a very high level. Today we'll look at the overview. Gnpc is going to be a project that we would be tackling on the Ghana Agenda. So today we're going to take a piece of Gnpc and just look at the overview, how Gnpc is organized. So we're looking at the structure of the Gnpc itself. We're looking at their operations. We're looking at their subsidiaries and associations with other firms and organizations. And then we'll show you some financial highlights. We'll give some financial highlights. Today I have with me in studio a gentleman here who's very, very qualified. His name is Maury J. Kofi Eglegbo Lawal. Maury is actually representing MDC today. Again, we've also had discussion with the MPP party, who's supposed to provide one of their representatives for us for this discussion, but due to time and other circumstances beyond our control, we don't have them in studio today, but we look forward to bringing them on. The goal is to provide them our programs ahead of time so that they can prepare and join us. So the MPP will be coming. We are still looking into that. We are working with them. That relationship has been formatted, has been put together, and they are ready to show in our studio and help us with our programs. How are you doing today, Mr. Lawal?
I'm really wonderful.
Okay. The only thing I ask is you come closer to your microphone so everybody can hear you. Okay, good. So today we'll be talking about Gnpc. We have two videos we'll be playing. I'm going to play the first video, which will give us, that new era where Ghana found oil. We were all excited. We know we were going to reap a lot of economic benefit from our oil resources. And, so we can start the program on a really good note, capturing some of the historical perspectives or things that happened before we get into all the details. So, producer, if you're listening, you can play the first video. The first video will say the new era, and it talks about Gnpc and the oil discovery.
The discovery of the Jubilee oil field in 2007 was a momentous event for the whole of Ghana. Commercial production began on the 28th of November 2010, the catalyst for Ghana's extraordinary economic growth in 2011. The oil and gas sector has the potential to ignite significant change in Ghana, and expectations are understandably high. But this hasn't been an overnight success story. More than 20 years prior to the Jubilee discovery, Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, established by the government in 1983, was hard at work compiling and working the data that would eventually lead Gnpc and its partners to success in the waters of Cape 3 Points.
Exploration has been going on since the end of the 19th century. A lot of Ghana's data was scattered around the world in different corporate and national archives. So the first thing the new corporation did was to go around the world and collect all of that data.
The data is very significant in the corporation's operations, in the primary tool that is used for every exploration effort.
Gnpc's evolution since 1983 has spanned 4 clearly defined eras. In the era of pioneering innovation, Gnpc assumed leadership and control of Ghana's oil and gas exploration effort.
The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation was created to give a commercial national focus to the search for oil and gas and to improve the benefits that the nation would derive from that process.
During the following era, from 2001 to 2008, Gnpc's mandate shifted Its activities relating to crude oil procurement and marketing, gas pipeline investments, and ownership of marine equipment were all divested. GNPC took on the role of facilitator.
There was a shift in focus of GNPC. GNPC was then to focus mainly on promotion and facilitation and monitoring of the activities of oil companies.
After the discovery of the Jubilee field in June 2007, there followed a new era of renewal and consolidation.
It was the systematic exploration and sustained exploration effort that led to the major discovery of the Jubilee field. After the discovery of oil in 2007, GNPC and its partners therefore embarked on a fast-track appraisal and development of the field.
2012 marks the beginning of a new era, an era of repositioning the corporation to undertake new leadership challenges in its bid to become a strong national oil company.
A period of accelerated growth is underpinned by 4 key strategic pillars. 1, building capacity and expanding activities. 2, replacing and growing reserves. 3, efficient capitalization and optimum participation. And lastly, capitalizing of local content development. We believe that if we are able in the next 10 years to pursue this strategy of accelerated growth, that would lead to Ghana attaining production level of about 250,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day by 2016 and about 600,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day by 2020.
With further discoveries in Ghana's waters since Jubilee, including the 10 fields, the Sankofa gas discovery, and the as yet undeveloped eastern portion of the Jubilee field, appraisal and development work continues apace.
The next development, that's the 10 development to the west of the Jubilee field, facilities for that development will be fabricated in Ghana. Once that facility is established, it remains an asset for the people of Ghana. It's real, it's concrete, it lasts, it's local content.
The success of the accelerated growth phase will depend in no small part on the skills and innovation of GNPC's employees. And everyone is embracing the challenges ahead.
For the last few years, we had infused a workforce with a lot of young people coming in. In the geophysics department, we already have about 7 of them going out the lab.
This is my 10th year. I came here from a mining company, and I'm now a very much trained oil and gas explorationist. I'm looking forward to working here for a long time.
It's been exciting because I was part of the first team that joined Talon on the Jubilee Secondment program. You get to work in an integrated team. So we have the engineers based here, we have the geophysicists also based here. You don't only concentrate on geology, so you're not one-sided.
GNPC and its partners will strive to maximize the country's natural resources potential and to ensure the industry's sustainability.
Working with GNPC has been fantastic. They've been very cooperative, very collaborative. It's not in every country that you get this kind of relationship, sort of positive engagement from the national oil company.
We welcome investors, we give them a fair deal, we ensure that they get their rights as long as they respect ours, and we're going places.
GNPC makes a perfect choice and a perfect partner for any investor who wants to come and invest in the exploration potential of Ghana.
We need to keep up the pace of exploration. What you see now is a much more focused march towards operatorship and eventually towards international operatorship. GNPC will be much more able to contribute to Ghana's development.
And this is on Loud Silence Radio and TV. To watch us, you should go to Facebook. Go to Facebook and put Loud Silence Radio and TV. Loud Silence Radio and TV, and you will see us live. We are also on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube. search Loud Silence. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. And anytime we come on, you can get a notification. So we are back to the studio. We just watched a short video that talked about our oil discovery and the role of Gnpc. What they've been doing some great. See, Gnpc is one of the organizations that makes me proud because over and over multiple regimes since the Fourth Republic, or even before the Fourth Republic, all the way from PNDC, because GNDC law, the law that started the organization itself, was passed in 1983. This is when we actually gave a concerted effort into exploration activities, and since then, governments have changed, and DNPC has continued to lead the way in our exploration, development, and production of oil and gas in Ghana, in our country, and that has actually lifted our economy. If you look at 2014, matter of fact, 2011, 2012, because of our oil discovery and the major production from the Jubilee field, we almost had about 11% GDP growth, right? Which was significant. Never happened to us before. So now, Mr. MJ, right? MJ Lawal.
MJ Lawal.
MJ Lawal. MJ is going to help us walk through, at the high level, what is GNPC? What do they do? How are they structured? All right. So, Lawal, for me, I know organizations like this take a lot of efforts, resources to build, and not only financial resources, but also people, some really good people. And over the years, we've had some strong people, some very intelligent people who helped us as a country to put this organization together to where it is today, where we have we are actually producing oil. When it started, we didn't know we were going to get to this point, but their vision and their leadership led us here. When you think of all the people who worked at GNPC or who led the organization, who comes to mind, who inspires you the most?
Thank you so much for hosting me today. And I would like to say we have to thank God for giving us the resources. Okay. You should be the first person. And then I will mention Jerry John Rawlings, the founder of NDC, with the initiative he brought on board. Okay. And then the third person should be our Lord luminary, Chachu Chikata.
Chachu Chikata.
Okay. I mentioned Chachu simply because, during his term as a CEO, he went out fishing out for top-notch technocrats. Okay, people like Nana Asafaje, we have Apiaje, and then we have Ben Tagadu.
Okay.
When it comes to Apiaje, he was working with Philips, but Chachu was able to convince this guy to come and work for GNPC.
Philips, is that the cigarette company or?
No, Electronics.
Electronics, okay,
Yeah.
Philips Electronics, okay.
Even though the money Ghana was paying him was less,
Right.
but because of being trying to be so patriotic, he decided to work for GNPC.
Okay.
And then when you mentioned Ben Tagadu, this guy, he was actually the advocate of producing electrical power by using the natural gases.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the people Chachu went in for. And then when it comes to arranging the whole structure,
Okay.
there was nothing like politics at that time. So the right people were in place.
What are you insinuating that today there's politics in the structure? I know we'll come to
We'll get to those areas.
analyzing
Yeah.
the structure itself. But is that in the back of your mind? What are you saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you any more Chachu or that's
Chachu did a lot of stuff.
okay.
When they started,
Okay.
the budget allocated to GNPC was not enough.
Okay.
So what did he do? This guy used $200,000 to buy shares in EcoBank. Okay. Just for the purpose of diversity and trying to raise money for the corporation. So guess what? In 10 years' time, he was able to sell that $200,000 for $11 million, which brought a lot of profit to GNPC.
Okay.
There's no company you can invest and get that kind of interest. So when it comes to GNPC, the first person people should mention should be Chachu Chikata.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it.
Okay. So now that is just preliminary discussion before we actually go into the main issues that we'll be talking about. And when it comes to the main issues, the first one we want to talk about is the structure of GNPC. So can you help us give us a quick breakdown of what GNPC structure is? What does the board look like? The executive board, the executives themselves, and just to tell us how the governance structure of GNPC does look like, if you don't mind.
Okay. Generally, they have the board of directors.
Okay.
And it's just unfortunate that the chairman of the board of directors happened to be the chairman of NPP.
So that would be 7-member board.
7-member board.
7-member board.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying the current chairman of the board, it's MPP.
Is the national
chairman of the MPP.
Of the MPP.
When Chachu was at GNPC, what was his position?
Chachu was the CEO.
He was the CEO.
Yeah.
Okay. He wasn't the chairman of the board. He was the CEO. Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. But the current chairman of the board is also the chairman of MPP. Oh, interesting.
Freddie Blay.
Freddie Blay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So who else is on that board? So I'm suspecting that the CEO of the current CEO, which is Sapon, is on the board as well.
Sapon is on the board.
Sapon is on the board.
We have, but currently, Sapon is not. We have Freddie Blay.
Okay.
Dr. Kofi Kodwa Sapon.
I think we have a slide for that, right? Producer, if you can put up slide number 4 so we can understand the board composition of GNPC. So yeah, you can go ahead. So we have Freddie Blay.
We have Freddie Blay, who is the board chairman.
Okay.
And then Dr. Kofi Kodwa Sapon is the CEO now.
Okay.
Okay. And then we have Professor Nabila. I think Nabila. Okay. And then Kobina Kwachi.
Okay.
Nana Ajwa Hackman, which I think probably is the daughter of the MPP Hackman.
Hackman also.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And then we have Ajay.
Is she a lawyer? Is she, the secretary of the board? Do you know what she does?
I think she's a secretary.
She's the secretary of the board.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
Then we have Yao Che, also as a board member.
Yao Che. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, so then, when I look at this board, I see Yao Chebi. Is it Yao Chebi? Is a chief, right?
Yeah.
He's a chief. Then I see Yao Che, who is also a board member. And then, of course, Professor Nabi. And then Kobina Kwache. What do you know about Kobina Kwache? What is his background?
Really, I have no idea.
You have no idea. Okay.
No idea.
My understanding is he's a radio presenter. But he's on the board of GNPC. So these are the people. The board is who would provide guidance to the executive committee, right? The CEO in making decisions. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So we expect that this board is of people who are, skilled or knowledgeable in the field of...
They are sycophants. They are there because of the party.
That's...
okay? The reason I'm saying this is...
Okay.
We need technical team.
All right.
Okay? What kind of advice these people going to give GNPC?
Okay.
Just tell me. What kind of advice are they going to give?
I think Yao Che, it's an industry player. He understands, I think is in a position to help, including Freddie Blay himself, who was also a lawyer. Yes. Several years of experience in politics, headed multiple institutions. So
we don't need to put politics into GNPC.
Okay.
Okay. So someone like Tony Blay is not, Fred Blay is not supposed to be there. He's just there on merit.
So why would you say he's not supposed to be there? Is that because he's a chairman of a political party?
What I would like to see PNDC do is to be an autonomous body. Okay. We shouldn't play politics with GNPC. So we have to look for the right people to do the job. We have to have the right people to be on the board to be able to advise the team on what to do.
So for my listeners who is not familiar with what boards do, all right, why do organizations form boards, and what is the specific role of board members? Are there committees that they have to be on, and what would those committees be responsible for?
The board members are there to advise, the executives.
Okay.
Okay. So they are like, I don't want to use like a watchdog. Like, they are behind the scene. Whatever is going wrong, they call meetings once in a while and try to address the situation. If the executives are having problem, they go to the board.
Okay.
Okay. So the board makes some vital decisions on what to do when it comes to capital investment and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good. So now, my understanding is, for instance, because organizations have to be audited, and the executives would be the ones, for instance, the chief executive is representing the operations of the organization, and that operation has to be audited at the end of the year. But because the chief executive is the one making the decisions, giving the policy directions as to how funds are spent, we want to strike an independence between him and the companies that will come for the audit. For instance, if it is one of the big four, PwC, KPMG, they cannot be directly hired by the chief executive of the organization. So usually boards will have what we call the audit committee.
Okay.
The audit committee of the board that would be responsible for hiring the auditor, and the audit report will be submitted to the board, and they would evaluate. The audit committee would evaluate and advise the rest of the board, or the chairman of the board, which also, of course, includes the board, which also includes the executives himself, the chief executive himself. On this board that we are looking at, those 7 members, the question is who would be on the audit committee here? Is there an audit committee? And I don't know. It doesn't look like we are structured as a serious business organization. Looking at what I'm seeing on this board, is that your understanding as well?
Absolutely, because when you look on the board, it's kind of difficult to tell exactly what they are there to do.
Right.
Because of the people involved. I'm not saying they are not competent, but they are not the right people. Okay. So, and again, I'll give you an instance. Like when Freddie Blay was trying to hire a procurement manager for Gnpc. Is that the duty of the board chairman to do?
So you're talking about recent
within between KK Sapon and Freddie Blay.
Okay. So you are saying there is a bit of
a little bit friction, if I
between
could
the
put it.
board, the chairman of the board,
of the board, and then the then CEO.
And why would that be? What is the reason? What is happening?
Should I call it a conflict of interest? When it comes to procurement, that is where they make their money.
Okay.
So everybody is trying to put the right person there who they can manipulate.
When you say that's where they make the money, what do you mean? I mean, who makes the money? You mean the board will make money through procurement?
The board doesn't make money, but whoever put the procurement manager there can manipulate the procurement manager. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's say we want to buy something, and my father has the same company.
Okay.
And you also have another company. You produce the same thing.
Okay.
Yours is probably cheaper than the one that my father can produce.
Okay.
But because of party affiliation, we end up buying it from the wrong place.
Right.
So that is why the procurement manager needs to be hired by the CEO.
Okay.
Okay. And then the board can have an independent structure, or trying to, I don't know how to put it. The board can be like a watchdog.
Okay.
Okay. Trying to see what the executives are doing, what the CEO is doing, what the procurement manager is doing, and then the chief financial officer, what he's also doing.
Okay.
So they will be able to audit all those things.
All right. Okay. Good. So far. So, and thank you for coming in and giving us all the detailed explanations, because some of these things, again, your daily life, I don't think you stop and think who's on the board of Gnpc, whether they are politically, what the political affiliations is. And for me, if you ask me, I don't think this thing should be political anyway. Man, the way I would prefer, and all our state institutions, state-owned institutions, because these are businesses to start with, right? The way I prefer them to be run is that we hire people with competence, qualified, who can help build organizations, and those people should stay on or be removed or retire without any influence from the political parties. It shouldn't be that NDC comes to power today and therefore the CEO of Gnpc has to, be let go. It doesn't mean the board has to be dissolved. My understanding is the boards actually stay for 3 years or so, but we can fact check that. So, the introduction of having the politicians come in and change the board all the time, I think is impacting us negatively. And maybe when you speak to your people in the NDC, hopefully when you come next time, it should be open for people to apply. Yes. The CEO of Gnpc should be open for people to apply. The board members, of course, we can have politicians there, we can have some chiefs there. I think the 7 is kind of, and some of these things I'm saying, because it's law, it's going to require for the law to be changed in order to increase the number of board members we need. But we need maybe more than 7, and we need some members with financial background to understand, the audit reports or the financial statement that will be published or that are being released, so they can provide guidance to the executives on to be able to, like you said, watch the executives, right, and understand what is happening to the organization. But currently, it's more burnt towards our political affiliations, and each political party does whatever they feel is necessary or whatever they want to do. So we are going to take a break. But when we come back, we want to wrap up the conversation on the structure. One of the things I want to discuss in the structure is what other affiliates do they have? So now we talk about the board. Maybe briefly we can talk about the executive, Sapon. It was Alex Mode before Sapon. And of course, you also mentioned Chachu Chikata, who you said did so many great things. And there were other CEOs who also did some good things, right? And if you want to touch on any of those, fine, we could do that when we come back. But the next phase of the structure discussion will deal with, the executives themselves, not the board, but the executive. And then we move from the executive to touch briefly on affiliates, joint ventures, what other organizations do they deal with in conducting the business of Gnpc and managing our oil discoveries. So producer, if you're listening, we are going to take a break. You are live on Ghana Agenda, and I'm your host, ALFRED AMUZU. Please, if you don't know how to catch us, go to Lawal Silence on YouTube, or go to Facebook and search for Lawal Silence Radio. Please subscribe to us, like us, so that when we come on, you can always get our feed live, or you can get a notification and watch us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. ALFRED AMUZU is on Ghana Agenda, and I have here in studio with me MJ Lawal. MJ is from the NDC. We are still working with the MPP. My hope is that they will join us for our next discussion next week. If not, we will keep knocking on their door, and hopefully one of these days we'll bring them to studio. This is the very first part of our Ghana National Petroleum Company's discussion. We are going to talk about these as a project. So we're going to do the first overview. Another time we will take it again and go into the details of their operations. We want to take each of their affiliates and really examine them. So after break, we'll be back and continue our discussion and looking at the structure of Gnpc. and he's helping us break down the organizational structure of GNPC. Also, I've mentioned multiple times that we are waiting on our counterparts from the other political parties. I think I've been mentioning just MPP. If there's any other party out there that has representatives in the United States, we want you to bring your people to our studio so we can discuss the issues that concern our country. We want to hear your voices. We want you to make your presentation to your people. There are so many listeners that have membership of parties outside of the NDC, and they would like to also hear from you. So welcome back, and as we've been talking, if you are just joining, if you just join us, just for a recap, we have discussed the people who help us build GNPC, and this is one of the organizations we should all be proud of as a country, because usually, organizations get formed by one political party, another one comes and, the visions are abandoned and things don't happen. But this is the one particular organization that we kept working on. Even when it wasn't apparent that the oil was going to be there, we kept researching until we found the oil. So it's a moment of pride for all of us. We should be happy with our situation as far as GNPC is concerned. Now, we are continuing on the structure of GNPC, and at this point, I want us to look at what the subsidiaries of GNPC are. What are some of the subsidiaries of GNPC that you are aware of that you can help us with?
I think when it comes to subsidiaries, we have about 4 of them.
Okay.
One is the Mole Motel.
Mole Motel. So that's the Mole National Park.
Yeah.
Where is that? Is that in the northern region?
It's in the north, yeah.
Okay. This is where people go and see elephants and
snake and everything.
So the hotel that supports the park is owned by GNPC.
Yeah.
At some point, I think it's 60% ownership, right? So GNPC has 60% ownership of that hotel.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Then we have Prestia Sankofa Gold Limited.
Prestia Sankofa Gold Limited.
Yeah.
So, are they in oil and gas as well?
No.
This is a gold company.
Gold mine, yeah.
Okay. So this is the thing, right? Yeah. Why is GNPC into gold?
You asked a good question. I'm a fan of diversity.
Okay.
But if you diversify into a portfolio, which is not yielding any interest, you need to get out of it.
Okay.
So I don't think they're making money out of Prestia.
Yeah. I've looked at their financial statement since 2010.
It's horrible.
And they've been making loss. Yeah. Prestia has been making loss year over year over year until 2016 when they got shut down.
Yeah.
But now the government wants to bring them back. Matter of fact, I read somewhere where when Ejako was still in the Ministry of Energy, is he Minister of Energy or
Energy Minister.
Yeah, he proposed that we were going to give $24 million to revive a company that made loss for over 10 years. And his reasoning was that, that's 3,000 jobs, right? But now, bear in mind, this company closed down or ceased operation in 2016. So 2016 through 2017 through 2018, those 3,000 jobs were already lost.
Okay.
All right. But then again, his argument is, if you revive it, then you can sell it. So there's a point there. You revive it, then you can sell it. But my bigger question is, what is GNPC doing in gold? And you said diversity, so I would like for you to explore that for us a little bit.
Actually, I don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Because if you diversify into a product and you're not making money out of it, you just have to get out of it.
Okay.
Now, Ajako said he should go into it.
All right.
Did he tell us what he's going to be doing differently?
Yeah.
From what they've been doing in the past.
Right.
Which have been causing them losses.
Right.
What is he going to do differently? They did not come out with any strategy. So why are we going to put money into it because we want 3,000 jobs back and then we're going to sell it? Right. And how much are you going to sell it for? Right. Do you know how much profit you're going to make out of that? You don't know.
Right. But you would think that, once, they bring it to a level where it's making profit, then we can do the evaluations and now determine, what we want to sell it for. But your argument is, don't put so much money into it. We've already made so much loss. Don't use good money to chase after bad money. That's your argument.
You revive it. you're making profit.
Okay.
If you're making profit, why do you want to sell it?
Okay. Right.
Why do you want to sell it when you're making profit?
But do you not think that if we want to sell it now when it's not profitable, that will be shortchanged?
I would sell a business that is breaking even, not a business that is making profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just bring it back to when it's breaking even.
Then you can sell it.
But the thing is, so we go and get all these revenues from our oil production, right? From Gnpc. And because they are making loss at Prestea, we have to take the money that we make
And pump
from
into that sector.
Gnpc that we're supposed to be using to grow Gnpc to become a standalone operator. All right? We want to be standalone operator by 2019. By 2027, we want to be a major operator like Aramco. That's the strategic vision, right? Now, or the accelerated growth vision. How do we do that when we spend our money supporting organizations that are making loss year over year?
It's back again to the government having hand in Gnpc.
Okay.
Okay? Imagine if this happened to be an autonomous body.
Right.
Run by an independent structure.
Right.
Okay? There's no way they will tell you that they want to go back and revive this company. Or there's no way they will tell you, let's keep running this company. Even though we're making losses, let's keep running it.
Now, one thing I find difficult to understand is, and of course today is just an overview, right? In future presentations, we would take the balance sheet that was presented, the income statement and the balance sheet that was published by Prestea and go into it.
Okay.
So we can understand why they make loss, right? For instance, one thing I found is their revenue generated in 1 year was about 58 million, right? Meanwhile, their operating cost of operating was 56 million. And of course, they have other expenditures like taxes that they have to pay and other things. And when you calculate all this, it puts them to the negative.
Okay.
You are digging gold, right? Why is it costing you almost 90% of how much you spend to dig the gold? You dig the gold, let's say for $1, but you spend 98 cents to go get the gold out. How is that?
That is the problem we have in Ghana. You know, you are digging gold.
Yes.
And you are not making money.
I don't get it.
What else can make you money? Did the Gnpc or the government try to investigate and see what is causing the losses?
Okay.
They did not.
So you think there should be an investigation?
There should be an investigation, and people need to be held accountable.
Okay. So good. Yeah. So Prestea Sankofa Gold Limited is one of the affiliates, and also I know Esplaco, which is another affiliate or derivative, a company that was formed inside of Gnpc just to concentrate on exploration.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Or if you're familiar. And then the fourth one, which we should also talk about, is the Ghana National Gas Company. The Ghana National Gas Company. Any idea? So Ghana National Gas Company, I know was a standalone company, but as of 2014, was absorbed into Gnpc. So Gnpc is now the aggregator of gas, or what we call the off-taker. So, producer, the things I've discussed so far will be on slide 2. So if you go to slide 2, I have a picture of the logos of all the subsidiaries that we talked about. So Gnpc so far is dealing with Mole Hotel, right?
Yeah.
First one. Also, Prestea Sankofa.
Okay. And then we have a strategic investment.
All right. And Prestea Sankofa, which is making losses all the time. And then we have Ghana Gas, and then Esplaco. All right, what I would do before we go into the next discussion is I'd like to read a few messages. I know there we have at least, we have a lot of people watching us, and greetings all over the place. So the first one I'll take is from Isaac Koran. Isaac says, good evening. There's Bobo One says, good evening. There's Badu US, you are welcome. Isaac Koran again, more fire. And then Bandor says, one love, bro. So there's so many good evening. Abubakar Salifu say good evening. Isaac Koran say I'm first. Live from Barcelona. That's coming from Martin Edu. Seth Agblako says, good evening, guys. Nana Eko says, good evening, everyone. So there's so many greetings coming in. Netherlands, somebody's watching from Netherlands. That is Digo Sia. There's Aram Martin says hi. So a lot of greetings. I have Voleto Courage says, thanks for the enlightenment. Ebenezer is watching live from Ghana. Thank you for watching, Ebenezer. We need to send you some data. But I'm sure you're good. You're good with Ebenezer. So keep watching us. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We have Nash Seed watching from Montenegro. Thanks for watching us. We have Afro K says, hello from Calgary. Hello from Calgary. Thanks for watching, Afro. So a lot of greetings. Terry Atipo say, watching live from Frankfurt. So we have Germany in the house. Frankfurt, somebody's watching from Frankfurt. And then I have somebody saying something about Kufuor. Guy Baku say, so why did Kufuor put Chachu to prison? Woo-hoo. That's a good one.
That is a good question.
Okay, so you want to...
I'm so glad to answer that.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. You can answer that.
I would say that was political vindictiveness.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Why would you say so, though?
Yeah, he said Chachu caused financial loss to the state.
Mm-hmm.
By doing what? Investing into, is it the valley? Investing into something like agriculture.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which they think is not part of GNPC.
Okay.
Okay. He guaranteed a loan with a collateral from the company.
Right.
And also backed by IMF, part of the World Bank.
Okay.
Okay. And during the court process, he won.
All right.
What did Kufuor do? He went out, reinstituting the Supreme Court, adding more people to the panel in order to jail Chachu.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
You see the point? First, the government should have gone back to look into the collateral to see if it matches with the amount of loss they're talking about. They did not even take time to look at the collateral.
Okay.
They don't even know where the collateral is.
Okay.
So nobody should tell me that they jailed Chachu because he caused a financial loss to the state. That guy did not cause any loss to the state.
Okay. That's your submission.
That is a very good question.
Right.
And I would advise Kufuor to at least go and apologize
to Chachu. So this is why, again, we need, of course, the other political party representatives to be here. Maybe they have
that is why they don't want to come here. They can
Not
come.
necessarily. It's just a matter of logistics. We want to, get them prepared to come. Because some of what we'll be talking about, we have to share with them in advance so they can prepare. I think that's what they told me.
Okay.
There's a comment here which also I think would add to what you just said. It says, well, what I was saying here. It says, why do you invite them to your studio? What if they come to your studio and start fighting? So what they're saying is if I bring the NDC or MPP, if I bring the MPP person and the two of you start fighting. And I hope...
no, that would never happen.
That would never happen, no. Right? Okay, so we should continue with the program. Keep sending messages. I'm going to find time to read all of them. And the person who said, what if they start fighting, is called Truth Teller. Truth Teller. Thanks, Truth Teller, for telling the truth. We would make sure they don't fight, okay? We'll make sure that doesn't happen. The next thing I want to look at, right? I think we've looked at, Mole Motel. We look at Esplaco. We look at Prestier. And producer, if you can go to slide number 5. Slide number 5 is showing the board members of Prestier. And, I'm just going to call the names out. And what you see is similarities. People who are board members of GNPC also serving as board members of Prestier. So again, whatever decision is being made at Prestier is as though it's being made by,
GNPC. As well.
Now, let's also note that GNPC owns 90% of Prestier. The other 10% is owned by the Ghana government. All right. So the board members, if you're seeing them on your screen, again, we have the chairman of the board, which is the CEO of GNPC himself, SK Sapon. And then we have Madam Matilda Ohini. We have Joyce Opoku Barton. We have Honorable Barbara Otin Jesse, MP. We have Nana Ikuya Ofori, TMWA. So she's the board secretary. And then we have Mr. Yao Che, who happens to be on the GNPC board himself. We have, again, the chief, which is the Ojio Hohoi Yao JB, the second, all right? The last person we have on that board is very interesting. It's Josephine Ohini Boate. Josephine, I know, was the MPP women organizer from Adaklo. I think she ran for MP herself.
Yeah.
And she found herself on the board. So these are the type of people we have on the board or forming the governance of our very highly placed institutions that would drive us out of the dependency on foreign aid, right? And this institution has been making loss year over year over year. So now that is shut down and we are trying to revive it. Any comments on that before I jump into the next thing?
I already said it.
Right.
It doesn't make sense reviving that.
It does not make sense. It does not make sense. Okay, I also want to show another board. The reason I'm showing these boards and the members of the board, again, is to look at the structure of the organization we are discussing today, what is GNPC. Going forward, we are going to look at some of the decisions that were made by these boards, all right? So you understand when we're talking about the decisions taken by the board, you understand who's sitting on the board and why some decisions are being made, okay? It wouldn't be part of today's program, but in subsequent program, we're going to look at the performance of the board, decisions, major decisions that they've taken. The next one I want to look at, which is slide number 6, producer, if you have slide number 6, is the gas company, the Ghana Gas Company, right? Yeah, you have that? Okay, great. So what you see here is, again, some very interesting characters. You have Mr. Stephen Sumani Naina. You know him, right? You're laughing. Why are you laughing, if you can tell us?
I know.
You know him?
I know him.
Okay.
I don't want to say that, yes.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. So he happens to be MDC man, former Northern Region Minister, who ended up joining the MPP and is now on the board, finds himself on the board of Ghana Gas. All right. Several different people. Some of them are lawyers. I know the one that I'm excited about is Togbi Jochin Akolache, because my mother is from, I'm from Keji, and he's a chief of Keji, paramount chief of Keji, so interesting one. A few lawyers. There's Madam Christine Churcher, MP from Cape Coast, right? What do you know about this? Do you have any historical, do you remember? I remember
her.
Yeah, remember her?
Churcher, yeah.
Yeah, you remember she was fired before, right? Mm-hmm. Fired as a minister of what? Is it education? Not education. But yeah, she was fired under the Kufuor administration.
Yeah.
And here we go again, so she doesn't have to be a minister. But
it's all about
she's on a board. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's chop.
Okay. Okay. So Ghana, this is our boards. These are the people in charge of our most vital organizations. And we're bringing them to life. We want you to take a look at them before we go into decisions that these people are taking on our behalf. They are doing some good work. They're also not doing some so good work. For instance, this Ghana Gas, right? And it's not, so it's not an NPP thing alone, because the NDC was part of this when, when we were having the electrical shortages and we needed gas so bad, and we know there was gas in Jubilee, there was gas being found in the 10 area. We hurried and, took a huge loan, syndicated by the World Bank themselves, right? A huge loan so we can pump these guys out. The agreements we went into says take or leave, where if the gas is, if they are ready, if they can get the gas for us, we'll pay for it, whether they give it to us or not. As a result of that, we are now paying $32 million a month. All right?
For some of the stuff we don't even use.
Right, for what we are not using, for gas that we are not using. So they go in, they can pump the gas, but they don't pump it. First of all, it used to be that they pump the gas and they have to re-inject it back into the hole for stability purposes. And we'll talk about all that when we get into the details and operations. But that is what we face. We face a bill of $32 million a month. And so that is why we're showing this board so people can be aware when these decisions are made. Do you have any other comments before I move on to the next thing? I think we've done well on the boards. We can now go into other aspects of the organization.
I think most people ask questions about if the country is getting a fair share when it comes to our resources.
Okay.
You know?
In other words, as the agreements we went into with the companies that come to Ghana and drill oil, are we getting our fair share from the oil that comes out of the fields?
No, we are not.
Okay.
I'll give you an example or an instance. You know, during November 2010 to December 2015, Jubilee oil alone production was about 161 million barrels.
Okay.
Okay. Guess how much we got?
How much did we get?
18%, which is 29 million.
Wow.
Okay. So I don't think that is a fair share.
But wasn't that part of the agreement that we signed with them?
That is a dollar agreement, which I don't know which people actually signed that.
I think that was done in 2007, right? When Jubilee came online.
Yeah.
Well, it preceded 2007 because they did the research. I actually have the agreement. And then again, this is just an overview. And we will go into this where when what I mean by we going into those details is on subsequent shows, we will take these agreements and actually analyze them, right? One agreement after the other. We'll analyze the Jubilee agreement. We'll analyze, the 10, the Sankofra, Nyami, and all that. Okay, go ahead.
So people ask, so what can we do in order to get a fair share of our natural resources?
Okay.
Okay. These international bodies, they find a loophole in our tax system.
Okay.
Okay. We need more effective tax system, to be able to deal with the situation. I'll give you an example. Like, they will tell you they want to buy something, and the expenditure they are doing, are they buying the stuff in Ghana or they are buying it from outside? If they are buying it from Ghana, our own product, that is fine. But most of the stuff are coming from outside.
Interesting. Okay.
And at times we focus on the revenue. And revenue is not the main thing to focus on. We focus on the expenditure. What kind of expenditure are they doing? When it comes to accounting or finance, you have to see the kind of expenditure they are writing their taxes off on.
Right.
But if you don't pay attention to it, you don't have effective tax system, that is why they run you down. So our tax system needs to be more effective,
okay,
in order to be able to get a fair share. And then when it comes to, we also have something called...
Let me interject real quick, right? We are charging the oil coast, right? Oil producing companies 35% corporate income tax.
Okay.
Do you think that is still not enough?
It's enough. But let me tell you this. Before you charge the tax, right, you have to see their profit.
Right.
Okay. How did they derive their profit?
They take their revenue and subtract their expenses.
Very good.
So we need to watch what expenses can be deducted or not.
Exactly.
So in your view, you say they are taking some expenses that perhaps
we are not paying attention.
We're not paying attention.
Which probably doesn't even exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that would amount to cooking the books, right?
That is what they do. So we have to be careful.
Right.
So that we can, get our fair share.
Now, I don't want to. I always sometimes I put myself in a position where I'm the devil's advocate. Do you think our government or, there may be official collusion with some of these companies in order to,
I don't think so.
You don't think that's
what
it is, right?
Our tax system is very weak.
So it's our own
tax
laws that we have governing our taxes that allows them to deduct whatever expenditure they, claim on their audited financial statements.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, we are going to play one video. I hope I didn't cut you. We are going to play one video, and this video is from, I'm sure it's your favorite CEO of Gnpc, Alice Mode. Mode. Not from Chachu, Alice Mode. And Alice will give us an insight into where our problems are as far as the structure of the organization is concerned.
He's a very great guy.
Okay, okay. My understanding is you guys are considering him for vice president.
I can't tell.
Okay. if you can play the video for, let me see, taking politics out of GNPC.
Because it's running a business and it has these corporations, ECG, GNPC, Ghana Gas, all of these corporations should be firing on all cylinders. They should be efficient, lean machines, not just putting a lot of people there who have no competence to do the work. They have to make sure that they have the right people there, they have the right strategy, they have the right organization, they have the right board, and they have the right management team to make these things work. This makes financial institutions very happy that you have people who can run the sector, people who understand that they cannot, miss payments, they cannot renege on agreements, which is normal in the public sector, even in government. They don't pay road contractors, they don't pay fuel bill subsidies, all of that. And all of these has to stop. So we have to make sure that we have an astute financial management in all of these areas. And we stop the politics in these areas and let these organizations run like high-performing businesses. That is the only way.
And then finally, in 2 minutes, I'm sure you've been monitoring goings on at Gnpc, no doubt. Gnpc post Alex Mode. What do you make of it? Because some of the issues about expenditure, and it keeps on coming on and on and on and on. So beyond you, what do you make of the current head, the current management of Gnpc? In 2 minutes.
The time would finish.
2 minutes.
I think KK is doing a good job. I think he needs more support from his board. I think they need to take the politics out of Gnpc. There's too much politics going on in most of the organizations where you have really good technical people sidelined just because they don't wear the right colors. It doesn't happen in Gnpc alone, it happens in every single industry. I'm hoping nobody can say that about me. It never happened in my time, I hope so.
You were tough against the politics?
I was just saying that I need good people to work with. Okay. I need a good board, I need good management team. You have to have good people to work with. It helps if they're on your colors, but hey, you have to have good people to do the work, and you have to put your best team forward, and you have to take business decisions. Okay. This is a business we're running. Gnpc is a huge organization. It's running a business. Ghana Gas is a huge organization. Tamale Refinery, a huge organization. You should run them as efficient businesses and leave the politics out.
Okay.
This is the Ghana Agenda. I'm your host, ALFRED AMUZU. Today I have in studio with me MJ Lawal. MJ Lawal is representing the NDC. MJ is representing the NDC, and he's been helping us analyze Gnpc, the organizational structure. We look at their boards, we look at their affiliates, and then we just play a video from the former CEO of Gnpc, Mr. Alex Mode, whom my understanding is the NDC is considering him for the vice president position. I know nothing about this topic. I'm not making any news here. This is just something I've seen somewhere. So now, do you have any comments on that video before we go forward?
With the video, I completely agree with the former CEO, Alex Mode.
Okay.
That Gnpc appointment should not be political.
Okay.
Okay. We need technical frost to maintain a GNPC all time. We need technocrats.
Right.
Those who can do the job, not based on politics. Okay. We, like what we went through with Freddie Blay, Keke Sapon, and all those things.
Right.
So what he said, I think he was on point.
So I think the agreement or the consensus here is that heads of our state-owned enterprises should not be politically appointed.
At all.
Politics, we can reserve 2 or 3 seats on the board for the political parties. But we are saying that the chief executive officer should be somebody who's qualified and hired for the purpose, not because he belongs to one political party or the other. Because what has been the practice is new president comes, a new chief executive officer is appointed. And so the consensus is we don't want that as a country, or that is not helpful to us.
We don't have to do that.
Okay.
Let me give you an example.
All right.
Like the Millennium Challenge, which Kufuor started.
Okay.
He maintained one person.
All right.
And when he left, Atamil came.
Okay.
Atamil still maintained the same person.
Interesting.
Mahama came. He maintained the same person.
All right.
Guess what happened?
I'm sure that person is no longer. I'm sure that person is no longer.
Akufo-Addo kicked this guy out.
Okay.
And what happened to our Millennium Challenge money?
Right.
It's gone down the drain.
Okay.
So we need to keep the people there, so they know the history about the industry.
Okay.
So
the institutional knowledge.
Knowledge, exactly.
That they bring after years of working there, the in and outs that they get to know, and how that inures to their performance as and how well they represent us. Okay. Yeah. So that's very good analysis there. I think what I would do with the messages is I'll wait to the end and read all your messages. So keep them coming. I've seen some came in so far. People are saying the analysis we are making here are excellent. So that goes to the good work you are doing.
Thank you.
And it's being recognized by our viewers. The next thing I want to look at very briefly before I go into operations. And operations, I'm gonna hurry through that because our time is running out. I always say that when you're having fun, time is not your friend. Time runs. So I can't believe we're already almost close to the end of the hour. But producer, if you can also show what we have on slide 3. We want to talk briefly about the joint ventures and associations. All right. The joint ventures and association. There's something that I think my viewers will be interested in. So if that is on the screen, what you're seeing is the organizations that are either joint ventures of Gnpc or other associations that Gnpc or other organizations that Gnpc is associated with. The first one you see there is Etel. Interesting, right? Who would have thought that Gnpc owns 25% of Etel? All right. And this has happened for year over year over year over year. It spans across governments, right? Etel has been making losses. Etel has been making losses until all our investment into Etel has reduced to 0. I think somewhere around 2017, they came back. After we were almost 0, they came back and said they wanted us to give them $122 million because they are trying to bring in more investors. And we said no, which is a good thing. I think saying no to Etel was a good thing. Yeah. But here's the thing. For whatever reason, we are not, as an organization, focusing on our core mandates. Can you help us with the core mandates of Gnpc? And if in your mind, do you believe Gnpc is staying on its core mandate or is venturing into things like Etel? Gnpc used to be in farming, and I know Kufuor kind of closed some of those things down. There's another one here, Etel.
I think they are trying to overburden themselves.
Right.
Okay. The core mandate for Gnpc actually is for oil and gas exploration.
Okay.
Okay. Which I think they are doing well in that category.
Okay.
As I said, diversification is good, but you got to know what you want to get into.
Right.
So I don't see them doing well in Airtel, and I would not recommend all.
Going back,
I would not recommend them continuing with it.
Well,
Probably
so
they should
far,
just-
as of today, because we couldn't give them that one, for us to maintain our 25%, we're supposed to give them $122 million. But we said no. And because we said no, they diluted our shares. As of today, our position in GNPC's position in Airtel is 0.11%. 0.11%. That is because we couldn't produce, and that is because everything we had there so far has been reduced to zero.
Yeah.
All right. Now the other one here is the Salt Pond Offshore Production Company Limited. Now, guys, if you remember, Salt Pond was the first gas well that we actually pursued. This is way before Jubilee, and this is a central region. And so we created this joint venture with a company called Salt Pond Offshore Production Company Limited. And as of today, I think we are in the process of decommissioning that block because I think we've run out of gas there. We've taken everything we can out of there. And so we are closing that. And the other one, which is the GNPC Tonic, this is our technical joint venture. This is the engineers who, do their researches, come up with new engineering methodologies, and help service all the oil companies, maybe Cosmos. They provide services for other companies, and GNPC is holding a joint venture with them. The next thing I want to look at is, again, this concerns. Now let's switch into operations very quickly before we close the curtain on today's program. Now, as far as operation is concerned, producer, if you have slide 7. Slide 7 would be what we use to guide this conversation. So the activities of GNPC is divided into 3, from my understanding. It's divided into 3 different segments, right? So we have the upstream, where we do, upstream is where the exploration and production happens. This is the core thing GNPC is supposed to do, right? And I think for that we form a company called Esclopo. Esclopo leads, the GNPC's work in this area. They do licensing and acquisitions. All right. They do farming activities. They do exploration, appraisal, development, production, and disposal. Like we said, they're in the process of disposing the salt pond fields. Now, so the core activity in exploration, production, development of the wells in each of the blocks that they find, and the process of doing the production itself, and when they finish closing the well down, happens in the upstream. The second segment, where you will see activities that GNPC is involving within the value chain, is the transport and logistics, which happens in midstream. We're talking about anything from tankers to pipelines. Now we're doing pipelines, especially for gas, because we want to reroute the gas we are finding in the western region to the eastern part of the country, where some of the thermals are located. Because again, the goal is to use our gas resources to power our electrical generators, the thermal plants. I think for that reason, we moved the car power that was brought into the country during the time we were having electrical problems. We took it to the West Coast. We retrofitted it so it can use gas coming from the Atuabo gas plants. So you will see that that is in the midstream, right? The tankers, the storage facilities like the bulk storage facilities, and the pipelines. The downstreams where we actually encouraging, or we pass the law for local contents, is where we do the refining and the processing. We have the thermal processing. Now they're doing one in Takoradi as well. So these are the refineries, the processing plants, the petroleum products, and the outlets. The government has been encouraging local participation in this. This particular slide here, slide 7, we would take in the future and dissect it. Every time we go into, discussing operations, whether it's in the midstream or the upstream. We will bring this back as a refresher. So sometimes it gets confusing when people say, oh, in the upstream, within the value chain, these are the things they do in those streams, and I wanted to bring that to life. Okay. Do you want to add a thing or two to that before we go on?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So slide 8 is also going to show us our production one more time. What we are trying to show on slide 8 is where our resources are concentrated, the oil and gas resources, where they are concentrated. And I'm going to show you a few photos as well. But what this will show you is that we have 4 sedimentary basins where our gas resources are concentrated. 4 sedimentary basins. So the first one is the Western Tano Basin, which is at the western region. And I will show you a picture of that. This is where you see the TEN, the Sankofa fields, the Hayes. The Hayes one is the controversial one, the one that Hayes actually owns, but because of the IT laws or the international laws of the sea litigation that we have with Ivory Coast, we didn't take our carried and participation interest. We're going to get you to explain what carry interest is for our viewers, right? Okay. We didn't get the participation interest early enough. I think the case ended up in 2017, and because we didn't do that, now we can't really go in. Hence, actually sold to ACAR, and there's a lot of discussions around that, and we'll take that as a topic. This Gnpc conversation is going to be a year-long project, right? We'll be dissecting Gnpc on a monthly basis. On a monthly basis, we'll pick something in Gnpc and talk about so that people can have a good appreciation and understanding of their state institutions and how those institutions are performing. So we have the Western Tano Basin. That is the first one. The second one is the Central Salt Pond Basin. Remember the Salt Pond one we are decommissioning? The Central Salt Pond Basin. The third one, which makes me happy, is the Eastern Kita Basin. The Eastern Kita Basin. The Eastern Kita Basin is still under development. We haven't really started anything commercial there yet. We are not producing anything yet. We're still in the research processes. We're still drilling till we hit, the real gold, and that hopefully that will change the economy of that region as well. And then the last one. The last one is an onshore basin. We call it the Voltaire Basin. The Voltaire Basin. Producer, I'm going to go to slide 9. So I'm going to show slide 9, slide 10, and slide 11, just to kind of give an idea of, show some pictures to give an idea of what those basins look like. All right. So slide 9. Slide 9 is showing you the deep water tunnel and the Cape 3 Point block. All right. Deep water tunnel and the Cape 3 Point block. So in this block, we have 7 discoveries so far. You can see them. We have the Almond, the Cobb, the Pecan, the North Pecan, the Hickory North, the Paradise, and the Beach. I don't know who names these things, but very interesting, right? These things are still being developed, and hopefully they can come online too. Now, what you see is right beside the deep water Cape 3 Point, you see the 10. The 10 we are drilling currently is in production. It's giving us several barrels of oil a day. Jubilee is also right there in the same region. These are all, if you look closer to the top of this graphic, I'm sure you can see is right there on the borderline of Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. So you can see the 10, and then you can see Jubilee as well. So this has been our discovery so far. What you see in yellow is what is owned by Hens. Is the discoveries by Hens. And you see those green diamonds, the 7 green diamonds are the discoveries themselves. So Hens is operating in this yellow area. And that yellow area is what we are saying has been given out to ACAR. This is what ACAR took over from Hens, and we will be talking about that in our subsequent conversations. The next one that I'm showing here is slide 10. Slide 10. Slide 10 says Greater Jubilee Full Field Development. So the Jubilee, when we first discovered Jubilee, was one small area, but so far it has expanded to where, of course, there is mahogany. People are familiar with that, and then there's Akasa. So there is a lot happening in this area. To be honest, I read in places that Ghana, as far as the potential we have, will become the #1 producer of oil in Africa.
It's possible.
Right.
Because when you look at it, we are still at the infant level of production. So it's possible.
It's possible. So there is a lot to be made. This is why organizations like Gnpc should not be played with. Our board composition, the executive leaders we choose to lead an organization at that level should be something we pay attention to. It shouldn't be based on political parties that would just choose people who either contribute to their campaigns or are their friends. We don't want it to be like that. Now, if we can go to slide 11, which is just a breakdown of the 10 projects, just quickly, and then we can move away from that. So again, it shows you the Enyera, the Tunibwa associated gas, and the Tunibwa oil. It shows you all the wells we have in that block. All right, and then if you can jump to slide 14 for me, slide 14. Slide 14 is going to show you, and I'm going to stop on slide 14. After slide 14, we will take comments, and then we will bring the program to a wrap. Now, what you see on slide 14, the reason this is interesting to me is this is your Voltaigne Basin. The Voltaigne Basin. That is all the yellow part you see on this slide. It covers almost 2/3 of Ghana. This is onshore oil, right? And it covers 2/3 of the country. There should be a question that everybody should be asking when they look at this, graph. What are the environmental concerns? All right? I know they are doing the studies. They've done an environmental impact assessment, but these documents are not public. We need to know our citizens. If we start exploring the Voltaigne Basin, what will be the environmental impact on our people? What arrangements, is the government contemplating to either relocate people, to compensate people? What are the plans? So we don't know. We don't know what the plans are. Maybe it's somewhere published. I just don't know. I don't know if you have a copy. You can, you don't know either, right? So the Voltaigne Basin covers about 2/3 of Ghana. All right?
That's a lot.
This is not the oil in the sea. This is not a deep water exploration. This is onshore. And this is going to be a game changer when it's actually, when we actually discover what's there. All right? It's going to be a game changer. So with that, I'm going to take about 1 minute break. When I come back, I will be playing your comments back to you. I'll be reading your comments back to you, and we can bring this program to an end. Watching Ghana Agenda on Loud Silence Radio and TV. My name is ALFRED AMUZU. I'm your host, and I have in studio with me Mr. MJ Lawal. Mr. MJ Lawal has been helping us break down Gnpc. He's a member of the NDC. He's also a banker. He's the vice president at SunTrust in Virginia. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in a minute and take your comments. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Ghana Agenda or Loud Silence TV and radio. We've been talking about GMPC, and what I'm going to do now before we close is I'll read your messages on YouTube. The first one, which I'm taking from the bottom, is from Sedinam Anchor, says Agboibo VY. And then Victor Agboibo says Kita Basin will bring war. No, we're not going to fight, okay? We're just, going to explore that oil and bring development to our people like Kita. So there will be no war. Samuel Atta says, good evening. Sedinam Anka say, Mr. Muzu, you are knowledgeable. Thank you, Sedina. Saki Nathaniel say, a very interactive show. I have learned a lot. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Tell your friends. See, what we try to do on this show is to bring knowledge about things that ordinarily you would not be interested in, or unless you're reading a news article. But we want to bring it all into one show and talk about, some very important organizations in our country and some of the things they're reporting to us. Also, Sedinam again say, we need the MPP perspective on this program. Yes, we do. We would bring that one of these days. Leopard, this one thing that I don't understand about the Ghana oil discovery, that EO Group alone is taking about $8 to $10, which I need further explanation how those two Ghanaian individuals. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm taking this comment and we'll look into it on our next program. The next time we look at GMPC, we will try to answer that question. Mr. Gamajisa says, good evening. Starting now against a great answer, MJ, about the host question of Alice Mode, Vice President nomination question. This NCP journalists always want us to extract information. Interested. We are not MPP journalists. We are just asking the questions. Things we know, things we read. Of course, we want to bring them live when we discuss our topic. Since he was once CEO and I have an NDC member here, I thought it was good to ask, right? So it's not true that he's going to be... it's not true that he's being considered for vice president. Is that what you're saying?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Good. No. I have to ask.
My paycheck is, below that.
It's below your pay level. I hear you. Stephas Ajadoche says, watching you live from Dubai, with all due respect. With all due respect to becoming, Kevin has a lot of information for you. So I would say keep your dials locking. Kevin should be back, I think, Sunday for teaser, and hopefully Monday he has a show for you. Ebenezer Samaha say, I think these analyses are healthy for the growth of our country. Great job. Thank you, Samaha. We would want you to join us every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time. Ghana, we come on at 8 p.m. on Sundays. Please tell a friend to tell a friend that Loud Silence has shows after shows after shows for you, and they are all very educative. We would want you to participate. Your participation is the reason we keep going. And as Ajay says, Loud Silence Radio, you are too much, bro. Hey, you two, you be too much. Robert Amate say, very interesting. Hey, Rob. That's my boy from Germantown. Joseph Dakuji says, listening to you alive from Libya. God bless you. God bless you too. Noel Kuonu says, because they don't like the Voltarian. Oh, Lord of mercy. Look, that's not the case. That's not the case, okay? And then somebody from Australia says, Germans TV Austria, watching live from Austria and keep us educated. Okay, good. Thank you for watching. Dixon Dodi says, nice program. Keep it up from whole Ghana. Thank you, Dixon. Tell your friends that Loud Silence is packed with programs. Loud Silence is packed with programs. And we are grateful for Calvin Taylor for bringing it live on YouTube or setting us up to do this. The last one here that I'm going to take is from Bawa. Alhaji Sule Bawa says, watching from city within a city in Nima, Accra. Yes, the city within the city. So thank you all for watching today, and I want you to help me thank our guest today, Mr. Lawal. We were supposed to be keeping this under 1 hour, but we've been struggling with that because the topics are interesting, you know. And next time, though, we would want to keep it under 1 hour. We'll make sure we do that. Our guest has been fantastic. Mr. MJ Lawal has been very helpful explaining the details to us, giving us, you know, some interesting commentary on Prestia. As far as he's concerned, it should be investigated, right?
Yep.
To see why, you know, the reasons for the losses. He also made some proposals on our tax laws that they should be looked at in terms of what expenditure should be deducted so that we are not, you know, losing too much of our God-given resources. Is there any closing comments you want to make before we leave? Do you want to talk to your NDC people, send a message out before we go?
Oh, I just want to thank you for having me here, and also to thank my fellow NDC members that they should that the victory is ours. We're coming back with full force.
All right. On that note, I would say the NPP, we are still waiting. I would be reaching out again. We want to bring you so we can have a lively conversation. It's not, you know, we are not
one-sided.
Yeah, we don't want it to be one-sided. We want to engage them as well. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep the comments coming even after the show. Go back to YouTube, share it with your friends. Loud Silence Radio is live. We have so many programs coming. This particular one would be every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., the Ghana Agenda, and I'm your host, ALFRED AMUZU. It's been great talking to you today, discussing all this interesting topic with you, and we say this is going to be a project. We will be doing it in various parts. At least we'll take one part a month. Next week, I will be looking at the ECHO. We'll be discussing ECHO on Ghana Agenda. ECHO is the currency we are going to be adopting within the West Africa community, the WAMU, West Africa Monetary Union. We'll be going ECHO, meaning we'll be abandoning the city, joining forces with our Togolese, Ivory Coast, Mali, other Francophone countries, Nigeria. We all want to get on one currency called ECHO. There's been some controversies around that. Nigeria is saying no. Ouattara couldn't just say, I'm taking the, you know, a currency, CFA, and changing the name to ECHO. So Nigeria is pulling out. Ghana has already endorsed, but I think there is some backpedaling. You know, so we'll be talking about ECHO next week, and we'll be breaking that down. We'll be jumping into the details of ECHO. Now, after that, I also have the CD depreciation that we will be talking about. It wouldn't be next week, maybe a week after next. We'll be talking about the CD depreciation. I remember when I did my first show with Kevin, that was a big question. People want to know, why does the CD depreciate the way it does? We want to go into the details of that and explain to our listeners why the CD depreciates, all right, and why Baumir hasn't found the answer to that yet. Hopefully, my understanding is there's a committee formed currently to interrogate reasons the CD depreciates. So we'll be looking into that 2 weeks from now. And then the fourth week, we'll go back to Gnpc one more time and look at some operational details. I have the audit report from Gnpc that we'll be analyzing. There are things in there you'll be blown. So keep your dials locked. Tell a friend to tell a friend. ALFRED AMUZU is on Ghana Agenda on Loud Silence on Sundays 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.